He lost 10 years of his life behind prison walls. Now he stands free, but only barely. In Judge Raquel West's courtroom, the past doesn't stay buried, and redemption always comes at a cost. This is the story of Anthony Domingo. Anthony Domingo walks into court as a free man, but his face carries the weight of 10 lost years in prison. Now he stands before the judge again, asking for one final chance. His voice shakes as he speaks of change, of learning from pain. But as his words begin to fall apart, the truth of what happened inside his home slowly starts to come out.
Opportunity to review the report.
Yeah, Judge. Yes, sir.
Are there any additions or corrections?
Nothing to finish.
All right, Mr. Lewis, you may proceed.
Judge, with Mr. Domingo, there was a situation, of course, where he had not been out of custody long at the time when he picked up this case, these two cases here. And when he was released from custody from TDC, he had made several strides as far as trying to get stable, as far as maybe finding somewhere to live, stable job, doing what he needs to do. Unfortunately, some of his decisions as far as who he was involved with at the time did not help matters. He also, according to see from the PSI, that there was some drug use that was going on. And from talking with him, I think a lot of that was self-medicating from a lot of the things he dealt with while he was in TDC until after. He lost several family members during that time period. And I believe he even came home to family members that were ill and lost them shortly after. And we believe that community supervision would have the structure of things, of vehicles that he would need to be able to address those issues, address any anger issues that would allow him to not be in this situation again. I think his attitude, which is clear from his additional statement that he gave in regards to how he feels about the situation he's put himself in, as far as wanting to move forward and be productive. I think even probation and their recommendations as far as, allowing the court to know that there are things that are available that could help him to not be in this situation again. And that's what we're asking for, Judge, is that he's given that opportunity. Like I said, in that short time, he did make, a lot of strides. And I believe that going back to TDC at this point would be very counterproductive to his future that he still has out there for him. He's still young. He still, will have a life there afterwards. And he, as well as Mr. Domingo, would like to address the court as well.
Go ahead, sir.
Well, Miss, it's like this. I just got done doing 10 years before, 6 months before I got locked up. And I wasn't doing nothing besides really going to work and taking care of my son and helping my aunt out. That's what I say with trying to get myself together. And basically, Miss, like I just feel like, I don't really deserve no time, like, cause the thing is, like, you're gonna do what you want to do, Miss, but my thing is, like, I'm not a bad person. I don't get into stuff, My only thing is going to work and prospering and helping my family prosper and being up for my child, And he was staying with me before this happened. Since I've been home, he's been staying with me, because I've been out of his life since he was 1 year old. And I just want to be able to at least finish.
Was it your kid or another kid that was in the house that day?
It was my child.
It was his son.
Okay, so I have no words. You barricaded, you were out of prison. You'd served 10 years.
Yes, ma'am.
You grew up, more mature. You have an opportunity at freedom.
Yes, ma'am.
You say you're not a bad person and you were doing things great, but you got out, you started using drugs again. You barricaded yourself inside a home with a gun with your 11-year-old so that the SWAT team had to come out.
I didn't barricade
But you don't deserve anything. How does that even make sense?
Now, in this situation, it's critical.
It is.
It's very critical.
It's very critical. You're right.
Like, the paperwork from the police report is true, but it's not all true. Because I didn't barricade myself in the house. They could have came in at any time.
Okay, but you were inside the house. with a gun. You didn't put something up against the door and barricade
I
it.
did not do that.
Right. Okay. But still, you're inside the house with the gun with your kids. So we're not going to play semantics here and word games about what did and didn't happen. They don't know what they're walking into. They know that they probably received a call.
Saying that somebody had a gun.
Yeah.
And I understand it.
And that part's true, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So they don't know what they're coming up on.
The courtroom hears his story point 10 years gone. A broken family, a father desperate to hold on to his son. For a moment, sympathy fills the room. Then the judge asks the hard questions. Guns. Drugs. A child trapped inside the house. Mercy turns into anger. And a chilling thought takes over the courtroom. Can someone who survived hell ever truly escape it?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Smith?
Judge, the Ring camera that was associated with this also showed that he was brandishing the weapon, threatening to kill the paramour, and he's had, I believe, several chances at probation. He's never been able to successfully complete probation. He was on probation from 2011 until he finally got revoked on the other case in 2014. After that, he went to prison, was in prison for 10 years, and didn't make it 6 months before he committed these crimes. The chances of him actually being able to make probation are very small, I believe, and the fact that this could have been a lot worse had police not been calm and not just gone in the house. It could have been bad for her, for the boy, and for the defendant here. He has no education. He's probably limited to labor-type jobs only, and he's demonstrated an unwillingness to follow the law, to make himself a useful member of society. He was using drugs, and a fairly substantial list of drugs. He was on alcohol, cannabis, Xanax, ecstasy, and codeine.
Codeine.
After having just gotten out of prison, and possessed a firearm and threatened people with the firearm.
Was there some time when you got out of prison that you had to go to a halfway house?
No, ma'am.
Because you had to do all your time?
I did all my time. Yes.
You did every bit of it.
Yes, ma'am.
You know what that tells me? That tells me that you didn't act right while you were in prison.
For
Because-
the most part, I didn't.
Most people make parole.
Not
You
saying
know?
For the most part, I didn't.
You didn't?
I'm not gonna lie.
Okay.
About nothing, man. I was young. Like, going through TEC, it's hard to.
I have no idea. I'm sure it's hard. I have no idea.
And Judge, if I may,
Yeah.
I think some of the things I was talking about, of course, the things that's available through probation, Judge, will help with his emotional stability, because a lot of that was, like I said, the things he dealt with while he was there, and what he came home to. Like I said, he made strides and everything as far as to try to get himself stable before he's taking care of himself. I think, he needs to spend more time on himself before we get into relationships and things like that could draw him into situations like this. Or as, not having that emotional stability.
All right. Anything else? Mr. Domingo, I think you've had all the opportunities. The fact that you got out and immediately started using drugs, all the drugs,
Can I speak this?
yes.
When I filled out my PSI, I filled out my PSI for all the drugs that I done did before, not for the drugs I was doing.
I know, but so you said here though that your date, it specifies on the PSI the date of your last use of drugs. So this shows that you last used alcohol April 23rd of 2024.
Yeah, I do.
Okay. That you last used marijuana February of 2024. So that was in between when you got out of prison and when you got locked up again. It shows that you last used Xanax March of 2024, which is in between that 6-month time. It shows you last used ecstasy March of 2024, which is in between that time. It shows that you last used codeine in between that time, March of 2024. So it shows that you you didn't just get out and have a couple drinks and maybe smoke a little marijuana. You just got out and did all this stuff. And got yourself in this position to completely traumatize your own child. I'm going to find that you entered your pleas of guilty in each case freely and voluntarily. And cause number 24, DCCR 1021, find sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and at this time find you guilty of unlawful possession of a firearm by felon. Sentence you to a term of 8 years in the Institutional Division of the Texas Department of Corrections. You will receive credit on that sentence for any time that you've been in custody that the law gives you the right to receive. In cause number 24, DCCR 1022, find sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and at this time find you guilty of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Sentence you in accordance with your agreement to a term of 8 years in the Institutional Division of the Texas Department of Corrections. You will also receive credit on that sentence for any time that you've been in custody that the law gives you the right to receive. These cases will run concurrently, which means together at the same time. Now, here's something, Mr. Domingo, that I don't normally say. You clearly need some help. I'm not going to say that you don't. If you're going to get your life together, it's up to you to get that help. But let me explain something also. Don't talk over me, because I'm not even sure I want to say what I was about to say. If you're not going to be respectful, if you can behave in prison, and I'm not saying this is going to happen, but there are things that can happen potentially, where your attorney files something for me to review how you've been, and I consider probating your sentences and getting you back out of prison. But I can assure you of this. If you get to prison and act like you acted for the last 10 years when you were in prison, then you'll be there for the whole 8 years on these. That's going to be your decision. All right? I'm handing you the trial court certification in each case that shows these were agreements that I followed, so you've waived your right to appeal. I'm also handing you the written admonishment regarding your ineligibility to possess a firearm or ammunition. Because of the judgments entered against you, you're ineligible under Texas law to possess a firearm or ammunition. Possession of a firearm or ammunition could lead to charges against you. Firearm is a legal term, and you should read that written admonishment I provide you to see what devices qualify as a firearm. If you have questions about the laws that make you ineligible to possess a firearm or ammunition, or about how long that lasts, you can talk to Mr. Lewis. Obviously, you know that information, but I'm required to read it to you. All right, you can go back with the bailiff.
The courtroom goes quiet as Anthony Domingo stands before the judge. He is no longer young. Prison has marked him deeply. He talks about progress, a steady job, a home. His son finally sleeping under the same roof. For a brief moment, hope feels real. His lawyer asks for mercy, describing a man trying to rebuild his life from nothing. But the judge's tone suddenly changes. The calm breaks. She reminds everyone what really happened that night, an armed standoff inside his home. Police surrounding the house, a child caught in the middle. Anthony denies part of the story. He says the door was never barricaded, that the police report was wrong. But the ring camera tells a different story, a gun in his hand. Threats to kill, a man losing control again. The prosecution points to a familiar pattern. Failed probation, drugs, violence. The judge listens carefully, then speaks with sharp clarity. You had freedom, she says, and you threw it away. The sentence follows. 8 years in prison. Both cases running at the same time. Yet even then, she offers one final truth. There is still a path forward, if he chooses to change. As the gavel falls, the room feels heavy with regret. A man who once dreamed of freedom has become his own prison. And in the silence, one question remains. Can redemption survive after the last door closes? Justice doesn't erase the past, it forces us to face it. Some chances return. Others are lost forever. If this story moved you, like the video, subscribe for more real courtroom stories, and tell us in the comments.